Hey guys, Ramblin Bob here again, and I want to show you a really cool little inline app. And inline means it works in the browser. That is on Pecron's website. I just found it. I just made a price update for Pecron as I follow a few of the companies to see what fluctuations in prices for their systems. I want to show you guys what I found. Let me shrink this here down to let's go down to 60, I think. Okay, so if you go in the support, it's kind of hidden. I found it by accident. If you go in the support, and you can see all the accessories manuals, blah, 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 blah. But down here, you see this? It says Solar Panel AI Calculator. That is a very cool tool. Now, it only calculates their panels, but it teaches you about what to buy and what not to buy. So let me give you an idea. Let's take something as simple as the E3600. As you can see, they have all their systems. Let's see if they got the oldest ones. Look at the E800 LFP. What the heck is that? And the E600. What is the E? Boy, I might have found a weird one here. Hold on, I gotta search that. E800 LFP. I never heard of that one, guys. You guys heard of a E800 LFP? Maybe that's some new stuff they accidentally put in there. Yeah, they don't even have that, guys. Ooh, I might have. Wait, what is this? Alibaba. Okay, let me check it, guys. I don't recommend Alibaba, but I want to see what this is. An E800. Guys, is that a new power station that we didn't even know about here? What the GBs? That is $300 here. What is, so I assume it's an 800 watt inverter. What the heck is this? I've never seen it before, guys. I've never seen it. Maybe that's a new one that they're coming out with, hey? Wow, I might have found a secret recipe here. Looks like it is 768 watt hours, so that's to compete with the AC70 by Bluetti probably. Lithium iron phosphate, 3,500 cycles to 80%. AC input, 200 max charging. I don't like that. That's a little low. Solar input is 12 to 25, and then a 32 to 95. Wow, I just found a new system, guys. Holy crap! So I'm gonna have to make a video on that now. Okay, charging time 4 hours. So you can do it in a solar day, but I wish it would charge a little bit faster. It looks basically like the E600 LFP, just a little bit more bumped up as far as the watt hours. The AC is 1200, so this literally is the same thing, it looks like, as the E600 LFP, except it's the E800 LFP. So I'm going to save this because I want to show people, hey, this is a new product. And I always, anytime I find something, guys, I always try to bring it to the attention of people. So more education, more information is always better for your decision, so you can make an educated guess on what you want for your products. Okay, so that was pretty cool. So we found a hidden system in here. Maybe it's a new one coming, hidden inside here. Let me look real quick. Maybe there's another one. Oh, these look all the same. Okay, so notice there's a version 1 and version 3. The difference is the charging is 300 watts on the new one and 400 watts on the old one. We have the original one, and that's 400 watts, so that's why they have two. There's also two versions of this one, but the input is still the same. It just has that RV plug on it. So okay, so let's get to the brass tacks. So let's say you have a E3600 LFP. That's my favorite system, so I'm going to use that one. So basically how this works is it shows you all three ports that it has. This is the barrel, this is the XT60, and this is the second XT60. It doesn't show you that you can charge through the batteries, which we have been doing ever since we opened the box of the E1500 forward. That you can do it also on the E2000, except the power meter gets all goofy and it doesn't correct itself until the system is completely full and corrects itself. So these are the three ports. It shows you the minimum voltage, the maximum voltage, the max power you can bring in through this port, and the max current, which is the amps or amperage. This is a really, really cool idea here. So basically what you could do is you could add a port and then you can put whatever you want. So it would be 32, just to give you an idea, guys, to 95. That is a battery. Max power is 400, and then the max current, I believe, oh boy, I think it's 7. So that way you could add extra battery ports if you wanted to in there. Okay, so that's how you can add a battery. And then you would obviously do that. If you have a full system, you just keep doing it like that. So let's remove the batteries and just use the main three ports so we can all learn together how to use this. Now, If you want to buy a solar panel, you can add a solar panel, but notice it only allows there 3. You can change this if you want with a third-party solar panel, but this is kind of set up, obviously, so you buy their stuff. So let's see if we can max out this system intelligently without going over or buying the wrong panels. So let's say that we bought, two PB300s. Now those are 300 watt panels. This tells you the open circuit voltage, or voltage open circuit. Some people say it differently. That is the power that a panel can create all by itself, laying outside, not hooked to anything, which is a jarred system. So the voltage just kind of fluctuates in the panel. It's ready to power something, but it's not powering anything. Once a solar panel has been hooked up to a battery, MPPT controller, whatever, then you'll drop down to what's called operating voltage, and that's voltage operating, or working voltage. Different companies have different names for this stuff, but it all means the same. So basically, notice it comes in hot at 43.5. That's the open circuit voltage of the panel, but then it drops down to 34 when it actually is at its best working voltage. Because remember, you're going to lose voltage. It takes energy to make energy. Always remember that. When you take money to the bank and you're traveling and you want to change US dollars to Canadian or Japanese, a yen or whatever, they take some of the money away. So always remember that. It takes power to make power. It takes energy to make energy, okay? Or to convert energy. That's making energy. You're just converting it. So this tells you that the solar panels have 43.5 open circuit voltage and 34.5 working voltage. It lets you know that the amps come in at a max working at about 8.7, and 300 watts is the power limit of that solar panel. So now we bought 2 of them, right? And then you go down here to calculate best wiring scheme. So this is a very good thing because it teaches you actually how to do this. Now notice that the port number 1, it doesn't have anything on it because it doesn't think that it's good for that. And the reason why is because port number 1, if you look at it, it can only go up to that 30 volt max, right? That's a problem for this because obviously it goes too high, right? And this is the one you're concerned with, not this one. Don't worry about that one. Worry about this one. That's the one that you will break. You can go over everything from the amperage to the wattage, and the system and the MPT controller and PPT controller will actually limit it, like a governor, like on a go-kart. Go-karts can go very, very fast, so they put what's called a governor on there, so you obviously don't do 40 or 50 miles an hour on a go-kart track because that would be dangerous for kids. So there's a governor inside the MPPT controller that stops the wattage and stops the amperage to protect your system or your battery. So very, very smart that they did that, and that way people don't have to watch that as well. I wish they could do it for the voltage, but I haven't seen it as of yet. And if you go over the voltage, you will burn out your system in seconds. I mean, it's literally seconds. I popped a system when we first started about 2 years ago, Bluetti AC2A. It only goes up to, I think, 28, something like that, 28, 24, something like that. And I put a 48 volt solar panel there like a nut, and 1.2 seconds or 2 seconds, boom, it was gone, and I had a brick, basically a paperweight, and I had to have it replaced. So notice that instead of putting one panel on each port of the XT60s, it said you're best to put up the voltage and get a little bit more power coming in if you put 2 of them in series on one port. So see how everything is listed here. It says 2 in series, 2 pieces. Here's your 87 volts of open circuit voltage. Here's your operating voltage, which is about 69. Here's your operating amps, about 8.7. It gives you a realistic look at this is what to expect on the best day is 540, and that's very fair because you never usually get what the panel is rated. It's a rarity. If you do, you won the solar power, solar panel power lottery for real. And then the total power of the system is 600 watts. So now you're thinking, well, I got all these extra ports. Let's go buy some more panels. So let's add one more panel. So if you bought a third one, okay, Three, that's a lot of money, but over time you can add to your system. That's the nice thing with a modular setup with the batteries and everything, and the solar panels. You can always add to your system. So now that we bought 3 of them, and you have 3 of them laying in your backyard, you go, well, how do I hook that up best? So if you come down here again, notice that it's still. Oh wait, I gotta hit the calculate. Notice that it put 2 on one port and 1 on the other. So instead of putting all 3 on one port, it thinks that this is the best way to do it. 900 watts is your total. You could put all 3 on one port. However, if you do open circuit voltage, it's probably going to be too high. That's why it probably split them down. So where you get 150, let's see the open circuit voltage, 43.5. So technically you could put 3 panels on one side, but for some reason I might, I don't know, I don't like running that high of wattage, but I would try it, but I don't like I said, I don't like to go past that 80 volts yet. I'm still relatively new with solar. I have about 3 years of experience, very, very educated 3 years, though. Holy crap, Zill, I bought some stuff. But I think that's a safer hookup. One is in single and one is in series, and I like that it says this here because you'll see in a minute. So obviously if you bought 4, common sense would tell you that it would probably say 2 per port. So there you go. Oh, actually, see, it changed. Wow. Okay, so I would do 2 per port, but it thought differently. So this gives you different options. Yeah, I wonder why they did that. Okay, so they put 2 in series and 2 parallel. So basically, well, maybe it's a better way to do it. See, there's different ideas of how to hook stuff up, and that's where people get confused, me included. So 2 in series, 2 in parallel, which is 2S, 2P for short. It basically means that there's 2 solar panels over here and 2 over here, and then those are each in series, and then they're brought together in parallel. So if you had 2 legs, and then those 2 legs go into 1 leg, that's what that means. And then you're looking at making about 1,080 watts. So it really does give you a real world estimation of what to expect. I like that. I do like that. Now notice you're losing a lot of watts here because, like I said, you lose in conversion and you lose in the solar panel conversion. So it's a lot. So let's see. Let's do 5 now, and you can change this to whatever you want before you buy the panels, guys. I can't stress that enough. So you can actually see what's the best way to do these things. Now notice that there is different solutions down here. See this? So you can view the details and see different, which my idea could have been in that last one of putting 2 and 2. But if you could put them all on one, it would be easier, and you have 1 cable coming in, see, right? So that would be easier rather than having 2 cables coming in. So now notice it put 4 on 1 and it put 1 on 1. See that? So that gives you your 1,000 watts here and you're about 270 over here. So I might have done it differently. I might have done 3 and 2 and up this voltage to up in the 80s. But like I said, let's try this once. Let's see what this thing's here. Single. Okay, so you can see it's got lots of different. Here's 2 and 3. That's how I would have done it. 3 in series. Oh, see, you can do 3 in series and then 2 in series. I would have done that, but remember this voltage, guys, that gets a little scary. Okay, so just be careful with that. That 130 could not knock you out like that, and I mean knock you out permanently. So be careful. Notice that it switched this way and then it switched this way. So it does give you lots of different options, guys. I think this is one of the coolest things I've seen on Pecron's website so far. Let's see. Let's keep this, and then let's say we bought another one. Now how I would do it before we hit calculate is I would do 3 per port, and that's different. That's different, but I think down here there's a 3 per port somewhere in here, and then you'd have see, but this is kind of safer here. 2 series, 2 parallel keeps it in the 87, and then 2 in series keeps it in 87. So that's definitely a safer voltage, but this is more learning as far as hooking them up. And then it probably has, let's see, yep, here 2 in series, 2 series. So that's all. I think that's the same, isn't it? And then here, 3 in series and 3 in series. Now notice that your voltage, your open circuit voltage, went up to 130. Remember, anything over 48 volts can go directly through your skin into your heart and knock you out, and I mean permanently, as you take a grass nap, they call it. So don't do that. No, we don't allow grass naps. Okay. So now let's say let's say you have these maxed out, and you say, well, this is perfect. That's what I want. Obviously, you want it in maybe 3 or 3 or whatever you're going to do. And then let's say you wanted to fill out this port. And you say, well, you know, what am I going to do? So if you add another solar panel, you could do a 200, right? Let's see if this is a good idea. I already know the answer to this. And you hit like this, and notice one unused solar panel. And the reason for that is because if you look at the power port for that, the input port, notice it only goes up to 30 volts maximum, right? VOC. And notice that that is 38.5, I'm sorry, 45 VOC. These numbers will confuse the GBs out of you until you get the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, it's easy as chewing bubblegum and walking. Some people still can't do that, so bad joke. But once you get the hang of it, it really does make sense. It just, there's a little learning curve in learning all these parameters, input and output and stuff like that of all these panels. But like I said, stick with it. You'll get it, and it'll click like that. And like a very short story, guys. When I was literally laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to go to sleep. And when I was first learning solar, I didn't quite understand the series and the parallel. And now it's so easy, of course, because now you know. Once you tie your shoes, you learn how to tie your shoes. It's a very simple thing. But as a kid, you learn how to tie your shoes. You make knots, right? So that's your mistakes. But you don't want to make mistakes with electricity, because it could possibly be a very expensive or last mistake you ever make. So you don't want to do that, okay? So when you parallel panels together, the amps go up and the voltage stays the same. But when you series a panel, the voltage doubles, right? And the amps stay the same. So that's the difference. Voltage doubles, amps stay the same for series. Amps double and voltage stays the same for parallel. So once you got that in your head, it's so simple to use solar panels, and then you can learn more detailed setups as you go. So now that we know that we can't, if you bought that panel, you go, well, I can't even use that, I'm going to send that back and I'm going to swap it, hopefully you didn't buy that, to a PB100, and then we're going to go down to calculate, and then now notice it has 2 in series here and 2 in series parallel. I recommend I would recommend 3 and 3, but like I said, to be safer with the voltage, this is a much lower voltage. And then now notice that port 1 can be used, and you could bring it into up to 94 watts off a 100 watt panel. So nice, right? Because remember, this panel is VOC of 24.5, which is here, and it allows up to 30. And then here's your 150, which is very, very high, guys. Be careful with voltage like that. But now you know what to buy. You say, man, I could buy 6 of these bad boys and 1 of those and max out the system. Let's see what happens if you had the opportunity to buy 8. This is called over paneling. It's something that we love to do here. We love over paneling systems as long as you don't over voltage. I cannot stress that enough. You will not have a system anymore if you do that. So now it put 4 pieces, 2S, 2P, which is 2 series, 2 parallel on each one, which would get you just under 1200 watts. Just under, 1100 watts per side. So that would be about just under 2200 watts for the system, plus another 100, so it'll be 2300 watts. And now you found out that 1200 watts is the limit. However, you have, where does it say that here? It's 12. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So 1200 watts of solar panels. I must have put extra in there. So 12 last time when I was playing with this, if you put 5 of these panels. So that is a perfect system maxed out at 1200 watt limit. But notice you're not getting your full port power, right? Your 1200 watts. So you have 1200 watts of panels, but remember, you lose in conversion and the panels and all that stuff. So let's spend a lot of money here, guys, and let's do this. Now, we do this with rigid panels, which are the hard panels that don't fold up, not the portable stuff. And if you over panel this way, which we did, we put 1600 watts of panels which this is going to be, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So this will be 1500 watts of panels on each side. And what that, see, it'll say port exceeds the power, but that's okay, because notice that you get your 1200 power. But remember, you're really maxed out. 3 series, 2 parallel. Okay, so that's really weird. What I would do is I would put 5 on, actually, yeah, you couldn't do that. Oh yeah, okay, so how we do it in ours is we have bigger panels, and we have 4 of them, the RSC 400 watt panels, and we do 400 watts, those are series, and then 2 more, which is 400 watts and 400 watts, those are series, and then those are combined, so we have 1600 watts running in at about 84 VOC, and it comes down to about 69 to 70, and that allows us to get that 1200 watts. So notice that this one, with their panels, it's not a good idea, and basically it tells you, warning, hey, you're gonna waste some money here. And you know, $369 for each of these extra panels that you just bought, you know, that's a lot of money wasted. $700, you can put that into something else. Notice that it's green, 100%, 2500 watts to 2500 watts. So it actually gives you the best combinations. Now, real quickly, let's try another. Let's remove, let's see, remove, and then we're going to start from scratch, and we're going to pick a different one. Let's pick the E1000 LFP, which we have and we love. Now notice there is only one port. However, there is a second port on the E1000. No, wait, I'm sorry, I was thinking the E1500. Let me do that one. All these numbers in my head get confusing after a while. So notice there's 2 ports on the E1500. We have this actually in our van right now, and we use 2 ports. We have a 12 volt panel, which is a 200 watt panel, and we have 4 200 watt panels in 2S2P, which is 2 series, 2 parallel. Remember, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, those together into 1 string in. Now, this is the small one, and this is the big one. So how I would do it is I would do, let's see, a couple, maybe 2 of these bad boys here, and then I would add maybe 1 of these bad boys. Let's see if I made a good decision. We calculate and notice that 700 out of 700, power utilization is 100%, which means if you were to knock this down to 1 and you do this, notice it'll say 400 to 400, which means you're not getting that 700 watts input, but it lets you know what you're getting. So this system can hold, right there, it can hold 700 watts input. So we get up to 800 watts, which we never get. Up to 800 watts in the main, which is only 600 watts in this one is the actual system, but it can go higher if you hook it to a bigger power station, and then you get your extra 100 watts here. So we could literally max this out at 700 with our over paneled. Now that's cool. Now let's see if we can add my panel. So I have, let's see if it works here, guys. So we're gonna do open circuit. I have to, oh boy, let's find something real quick here, guys. Let me go to Amazon real quick here, guys. Okay, because I gotta find the voltage of the panels. I have 4 of these guys here, 200 watt solar panel. Holy crap, I typed all that without typing. Okay, so Acopower 200 watt solar panel. I typed in all that for nothing, guys. Okay, so let's go here, and then you have here. Okay, so let's go to the power. Right, where is it, guys? Holy crap, this is huge. Okay, so here you go. So this is what you're looking for. So open circuit is 22.1, so we're going to put that in there. Let's see. So you hit 22.1, and this is how you can put other panels in. So if you see one in a different area, that's cool. And then here's your maximum power voltage. Now notice that's a working voltage. They call it something different. So 18.7. So then over here you put 18.7. I think this is a really cool thing. This is how much amps that will create, which is maximum power current, which is right here. Short circuit is when the panel will shut off for protection. So 10.7. So this bad boy will go 10.7. Okay, and then let's see if it works. And then 200 watts is the max amount of this. Let's see if this works. I can't confirm if this works or not. There you go. Okay, so notice that it exceeds the power for the first port, and then let's see, actual power. 100 watts. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't quite understand. Yeah, so it doesn't quite understand miscellaneous panels, which I was hoping it would, guys. I really, really did. So that's port number 1. Remember, that's the small port, and then it's not put to port number 2. So it doesn't quite understand. And, you know, they did it for obvious reasons, so you can't, you know, use this to buy someone else's panel. I was hoping it would, but you have to buy their panel. See that? And then they're all pre-scripted, if you will. So if you go like that and then hit that, notice it pops right up. So darn, too bad. I was hoping that would work, guys. Obviously, there's going to be another AI style calculator out there somewhere, but I just wanted to show you guys this. It's kind of a long video, but guys, if you use this and learn, this is how you can make mistakes without spending money. I think this is a very, very positive thing, and I want to thank Pecron again for bringing AI to the game. AI is getting really creepy, but it is very helpful in certain situations. This for sure is very helpful. Okay, guys, ramble on, be safe. I'll see you next time here. If you like this AI calculator thing, leave a comment. The more comments, the more people see this video, the more people get helped with the education of learning what panels to buy and what panels to stay away from. Very, very cool money-saving trick. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ramble on, be safe. I'll see you next time here on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.